Hello everyone. So in the last video we unlocked all the other classes, and so I'm gonna start collecting those, and including the crafting ones and gathering ones. As you can see, this is for the goldsmith and the miner and the weaver here. There's some on the other side of Ulda. I will just go through the introductory the starting part of it, and then I will, well, for the other class, Disciple of War and Disciple of Magic classes, I will actually level up those to try to keep them with the same level as throughout the playthrough, so that you guys can request which actual classes or jobs eventually I play with during the next video, and so on and so forth. Unless wanted, I might not do more of the crafting and gathering classes, but if requested, I'll kind of go through them. I might do them as a separate thing rather than as part of the playthrough, because it's kind of a side type of thing in the game. You don't have to do it. It's certainly helpful, especially, for example, your weaver or your armorer or your blacksmith, where they can craft gear and weapons, along with other ones that you don't have access to right now because we started in Ulda. Each of the city-states have different gathering and crafting classes. So in Ulda we have miners as a gathering class, and then we have goldsmith, weaver as our crafting classes. So then we have some thaumaturge, pugilist as our damage classes. Additionally, there'll be more up above here. See, there's alchemist over here as another crafting class. There's 4 or 5, I think, in total of gathering and crafting classes in each of the city-states. So Limpsela, Minsa, and Gridania have their own set, and the crafting and gathering classes are kind of relevant to the ones that are within their city-states, related to their Disciple of War and Disciple of Magic classes. So the gathering classes here are more relevant to the crafting classes, and the crafting classes help the Disciple of War classes that are here. We'll do the goldsmith intro bit now. So, good morrow to you, adventurer, and welcome to the Goldsmiths Guild. Have you come to observe our artisans at work? Indeed, it is a marvel to watch goldsmiths transform raw metals and uncut gemstones into sparkling rings, earrings, and necklaces, some of which possess magical properties, no less. You know, if you'd like to try your hand at goldsmithing, the guild is open to adventurers like yourself. No prior experience is required, for we teach all you need to know about craft. Would you be interested? And if you say no, you will just have to talk to them again and repeat the dialogue and whatnot. It pleases me greatly to hear you say so. As the first step, I would have you understand the purpose of our guild. The vast mineral resources Thanalan have given rise to a grand goldsmithing tradition, which has been refined through the ages. Our techniques are renowned across the realm, our creations held in the highest regard. However, we of Eshtame's lapidaries, the premier source for Uldan jewelry, were not content to rest on our laurels. Seeking to advance our craft, we turned our eyes to the east, the only place in the known world whose goldsmithing was said to rival our own. We built the finest facilities to beckon their masters hither and blended their foreign techniques with ours. Our guild quickly became the center of Eorzean goldsmithing. Here you shall benefit from the refined wisdom of countless veteran craftsmen. You will learn to see the potential in your materials and shape them at your will. These are essential skills, for a goldsmith must hone his eyes to identify and appraise all manner of materials, and, when needs be, recognize imitations for what they are. It is even said that a master goldsmith can ascertain the authenticity of a man himself. You may one day come to possess such vision, but even the most magnificent jewel begins life as a rough-hewn stone. It must first be cut and polished before it can delight the eyes with its brilliance. If you would become a goldsmith, you must needs refine yourself as you would a gemstone. It will take time and effort, and there is no guarantee of success. Should you be certain that this is the life you seek, speak to me once more. And then you can go ahead and speak to the receptionist again. Before you can embark upon your journey to become a goldsmith, you must first seek an audience with our guildmaster. Are you ready to do so? And then it basically accepts your quests, and Jemime would have you reaffirm your desire to join the Goldsmiths Guild. You shall find Mistress Serendipity on the workshop floor just down the steps. Show her your burning desire to learn, and you're certain to receive her permission to join. So then you talk to the goldsmith, guildmaster, Serendipity. Stop right there, you little troublemaker. People are working here. Oh, pardon me. I had you mistaken for a mammoth. A very, very tall mammoth. For a moment there, Let's start over, shall we? What brings you here today, adventurer? Do you perchance have aspirations to become a goldsmith? No, I don't. So if you say no here, same thing as with a receptionist, you just speak to them again, for when you do actually decide you want to be a goldsmith, or you don't. Really? That's great. Welcome, welcome. I'm Serendipity, but you can call me Sarah. Or is that too informal? Sorry, I'm still unaccustomed to this whole guildmaster business. Ah, right. What did you say your name was again? Adrian? I didn't, and definitely not. Oh, right. Well then, work hard, and one day your creations may line the shelves of Stame's aesthetics. Trust in yourself, and you can achieve anything. That was sufficiently inspiring, I trust. Good. Next order of business. Here's your new chaser hammer. Well, I say new, but it's actually a bit weathered. But never you mind that. Just show me that you know how to hold it so we can get started. So here, these are used. You might have seen these in the rewards before with some of the other quests. These are for crafting. That's the only purpose they have that I know of. I haven't seen them for anything else. And here you get your first gear piece for another class. And so then you'll have your help pop up. Your main weapon determines your current class. Changing classes is as easy as equipping a different type of weapon or tool to your main hand slot. And as you saw across the screen, it also said that you have unlocked Goldsmith, and that this here gear set list, you've got an additional one. You see, you can have 0 of 9 right. I have 0 of 9 right now. So what I'm going to do right now, before I do anything, I just created one as Gladiator. So now, if I ever change my class, I can quickly swap to Gladiator. Later on, you might see me have a couple of hotbars down here for the various Disciple of War and Disciple of Magic classes. So if I just click and drag, you see, now there's that clickable item that I can choose, well, just click or select via the keybind hotkey, rather than opening this up and clicking on here and then having to select from the list, just in case you rename them and you have no idea what's what. The nice thing about this also is if, say, I change any of my pieces of my gear, it will, well, here. Let's just show an example here. So I'm going to quit back to this little gear. You'll see this update gear set, and then it'll save whatever gear set you have equipped to the gear set that you have on your list. In which case, I don't want to do that because it's not the best weapon that I can have, so now that's obtained for that. Now if you change gear and you don't want to save it, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to update gear set. So there's that. Now, because I don't have any actual gear for my crafting classes. It can be a little awkward. So I'll just do this where nobody's here. I say as someone runs past. I'll do this where nobody's here and equip the hammer because now I'm completely naked. Other than that. But fortunately, we have class gear that is, as you can see in the green text on the left there, just below the item level, it says all classes, which means that all classes can wear this gear. So, and I didn't want to do that. I messed that up. I changed it to there. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Okay. Now we have our... I'm going to change that to 2. And Gladiator becomes 1 again, so that's what we have equipped. So you see how it's changed down there as well. So now I have that. And you also notice, that's one of the things I really like about this game, is that each class has its own hotbar. You can share some, so in your settings, I won't go through that right now, but in your settings, you can share hotbars. So, for example, you saw that this one here didn't change. Well, it's exactly the same as here. Let's try that again. It's the same as the Gladiator one. So in this case, hotbar number 5 is a shared hotbar, so it doesn't change unless I change it in the system settings for that. So the nice thing about this is that you don't have to worry about finding space for all your classes and stuff on your hotbar because you have your own for each class. That was something I was confused about and worried about because I wanted to try all the classes and jobs once I found out that you could do all of them with one character. I was like, how are you supposed to fit all these skills on the hotbars? Well, the nice thing, you don't have to worry about that. Unless, of course, you decide to have all of them with the same... with all of them with being shared. So, Serendipity would like to, and you can see, first gear for crafting, yay! Serendipity would like to officially begin your training as a goldsmith. Great, let's get started. Though to be honest, I'd swear we've done this before by the way you wear that hammer on your hip. Mind you, even if you do have some experience, a responsible guildmaster must ensure that her charges have a firm grasp of the fundamentals. Therefore, I command you to craft me a copper ingot. It's simple, really. All you need to do is copper ore and a wind shard. Our guild supplier, Aistan, can supply you with copper ore and give you a few wind shards along with your hammer. At least I think I did. If it turns out you don't have any, you need to get some yourself. Isn't this exciting? Your first real challenge is a member of the Goldsmiths Guild. Show me the ingot once you're done. Good luck! And then it explains to you how to craft and where to get the crafting recipes. Well, at least the basic ones that are automatically unlocked as you proceed in levels. To synthesize a copper ingot per serendipity, select logs from the main menu, followed by crafting log. And then this explains further the crafting log and the menu. And once again, I will leave that for you guys to read at your leisure. So I'm gonna, as you can see, I've added emotes and hunting logs, so I'm probably gonna do the same with crafting, just because I can. So, here, crafting log, or I can hit the end button. But I always forget what button it is, so I always click there. And here, copper ingot, and you can see on this side, the recipe level, it's a level 1 to 5 copper ingot. You need 3 copper ores. NQ is for normal quality, HQ is for high quality, and then what's in your bag will be listed below here, and then you can choose if you want to use all normal quality, if you have them equipped, or like if you have them in your inventory. So you can choose 3 normal qualities, 3 high qualities, 1 normal quality, 2 high qualities, or any combination thereof, for the to equal to amount of 3 copper ores, and then you synthesize. In addition, it shows you the difficulty, how much durability you have. So in this case, this skill here has a increases progress, CP cost, this purple bar here, 0, and the durability means that each attempt will, in most cases, take cost of 10. There's other skills to help reduce that. And then quality up here is basically for, so 312 is the total amount that would be a high quality copper ingot if you succeeded in crafting it or synthesizing it. And so for each high quality base material you use, or material you use, depending on what thing you're crafting, this quality will increase. So the higher it is, the easier it is to synthesize a high quality, in this case, copper ingot. Sorry if that was very confusing. It'll make more sense if I do more crafting stuff. And I'm not the greatest. Well, I'm good at crafting, but I don't know everything about crafting. I call it a baby level 70, which is the cap so far. But there's quite a bit of stuff after level 70 for your crafting classes, and I'm still a baby in that sense. So levels 1 through 50 are pretty simple. 50 to 60 gets a little more challenging, and levels 50 to 60 is with your Heavensward expansion, and then 60 to 70 is with Stormblood. And then I imagine there will be more crafting, possibly with the next expansion, Shadowbringers, but we will find out more when it comes closer to that release. Anyway, so, oh yes, and here's the wind shard here. If you're not sure if you have wind shards, this number down here tells you how many you have. In this case, we already have 122, and it costs 1 to do this crafting. In your inventory, you might have noticed this little button here, so you can swap through each of these bags portions. Well, this one is for all your shards, and you see there's bigger ones, clusters, I can't remember what those ones are, and then the shards. Crystals, cluster, shard. So here's your fire shard, ice shard, wind shard, earth shard, lightning shard, and water shard. Each of the crafting classes typically uses a different type of shard or crystal. Sometimes they use 2. I don't think any uses 3 at a time, but I could be mistaken because I haven't done any of the high-end crafting. So obviously you can see the guild supplier here, and contains a lot of the crafting supplies. Now, the mistake I made was buying a bunch of these materials. Well, first off, you probably don't need many, and if you're not doing a whole lot of crafting, definitely don't waste the gil on it. Further, a lot of those are really easy to get as a gatherer. It takes time, you might not like it, but it's less costly. And so if you're all about making gil, definitely do your own gathering. If you can find a good deal for it on the marketplace, go for it. So in this case, I'm not going to buy the materials. I will probably gather with them. And as I was mentioning before, the miner can actually mine some of those copper ores for me, so I can complete the goldsmith quest. The other thing to keep in mind is that each of the crafting classes will have other materials that can only be crafted by other other crafting classes. So, for example, let's see, might not have anything early on, but like, okay, yeah, I think here. So, well, let's see. Oh, yes, so I just right-clicked. I can search for the item to see if I have any, link any, or search for the crafting method. And searching for the crafting method will only appear, will only show me the crafting recipe if I have a high enough level in that particular crafting class to actually craft that material. So in this case, the copper rings are with copper ingots, and I can do this. We'll talk to the miner here first, and then if I can find an example after I do the weaving one, then I can explain that further. Okay, so, well met, adventurer. You stand within the Miners' Guild, the place where seekers of the realm's mineral wealth gather. With pickaxe and sledgehammer, we miners work rock and earth that they might yield us ores, fossils, precious stones, and more. If you have a mind to join our ranks, you will be pleased to know that we are currently recruiting. Great riches await those with strong backs and keen eyes. Do you wish to join the Miners' Guild? No. A decision you will not regret. You have just taken your first step toward striking it rich. To look at the lands around Ulda, one would be forgiven for thinking the region barren of opportunity, but beneath the surface the scene could not be more different. There lie veins of copper, silver, and gold beyond measure. For as long as he has dwelt in Thanalan, man has availed himself of these vast deposits, giving rise to a thriving mining trade which forms the foundation of our nation's prosperity. Of course, the mining trade as it is today owes much to an event which took place some century and a half ago, namely the Mad Mithril Rush. Never before had the Sultanate seen such an influx of migrants. Endless throngs came from lands near and far, spurred on by a dream of discovering a motherlode. Alas, a harsh reality awaited them. Kind of sounds like the gold rush. You see, the vast majority of these poor souls were miners in name only, and they possessed neither the proper equipment nor the training to realize their dreams. To make matters worse, the mining concerns who in those days held absolute power did not scruple to exploit them. Presented with a glut of unskilled labor, they proceeded to fill every tunnel to bursting, and atrocious working conditions soon became the norm. Miners were paid a pittance for back-breaking labor and saw naught of the riches they unearthed. Pushed to a breaking point, the workers banded together to form the Miners' Guild with the aim of improving conditions while protecting the integrity of the trade. Since then, we have sought to educate folk in correcting mining practices both to prevent accidents and to curb the impact that our trade has upon the environment. I trust you now have a better understanding of what we do. All that is left is to commit your name to our role. When you are ready to do so, pray speak with me again. I shall guide you through the enrollment procedure. And then we'll talk to Lynette again. So are you ready to join the Miners' Guild? I guess so. Lynette wishes to reaffirm your desire to join the Miners' Guild. Music to my ears. I, the kind of mate when one's pickaxe strikes gold. You must introduce yourself to Guildmaster Adalberta right away. Her approval is required if you are to be formally admitted to our ranks. In case you're unaware, Adalberta is perhaps the most accomplished of those miners who still swing a pickaxe. Her understanding of our trade is unsurpassable, and her flair for prospecting uncanny. Her brain, in short, is a veritable gold mine of knowledge, much of it concerning the mining of gold. Haha! Jesting apart, you stand to learn a great deal from her. When you are ready, pray present yourself to Adalberta. You will find her down the steps yonder by the bar. Didn't actually realize that was a bar until just now. Well met, adventurer. Adalberta is the name, and I'm master of this guild. I take it you wish to become a miner? Well, our doors are open to all who aren't afraid to work hard and get dirty. Thanks to recent advances in refining techniques, it's now possible to smell even low-purity ores. I mention this because it's allowed us to reopen a number of mines which were long thought exhausted, prompted trade to flourish. Truth be told, with business as it is at the moment, we can't take enough new miners, and a few folk make better miners than adventurers, you being a hardy lot. What's more, you're well-traveled, which serves to expand the guild's sphere of activity. Oh, but I'm not suggesting you run solely for our benefit. For your part, you'll acquire skills that will prove to your profit. A mutually beneficial arrangement. I trust you'll agree? So what say you? You will join us, yes? Well, I guess so. Ready to work hard and get dirty? Sure. Then I bid you welcome to the Miners' Guild. May your toils never go unrewarded. Now then, here's a pickaxe to get you started. It's not the newest, but it should serve a novice well enough. Go and take it up, see how it feels in your hands. Speak to me again when you're ready, and I'll assign you a little task to help you get into the swing of things. So, once again, I'm just going to... Oh, yes. Sometimes I'm lazy and I won't actually hit Control-I to open up the armory chest. I will just left click this button. As you can see, it dragged it there, which is kind of annoying. But then I'm just right clicking, equip, and so I don't do the same mistake. It's for miner. And as you saw, these all changed. I usually only keep sprint on the bar. I'll move that up one. Just prospect. Gathering works a bit different than crafting. And once we get out onto the field again, probably for more combat, I will kind of go through that then. Adalberto wants to assign you your first task. You look good with a pickaxe, Celebrian. Now that you're suitably equipped, your training can commence. A miner learns her craft best in the wilderness, with a pickaxe in hand. To begin, let's see how you fare with good old copper ore. Bring me, say, 10 chunks. There are deposits of the stuff throughout Thanalin. I doubt you have to go very far outside the city. Seek out some promising locations outside the gate and... whoops. Seek out the promising locations outside the gate of the Sultana and the gate of Nald and swing away. The motion may feel awkward at first, but in time it's become a second nature. Miners use pickaxes and other tools to extract the mineral wealth of Eorzea and gather materials used in crafting. Locations that can be mined for resources are known as mineral deposits. To locate mineral deposits, make your way out of the city and then use the miner action known as prospect. So I usually just leave it on all the time. And it'll automatically show me where the locations of the mineral deposits that I actually have access to, because some of them don't become visible until you are a high enough level. Do I want to go that way? Yes, I do. And as I said, once we get back out, I will go through that sort of thing. And also, as you saw, copper ore is what we need, and we need copper ore also for the goldsmith quest. So in that sense, I kind of suggest, if you're going to do crafting, that it doesn't hurt to do all of them. It takes a lot longer, obviously. If you want to focus on them, that means you will have to find a way to acquire the other materials, some other means, either from a friend in the game or from another crafter. You can usually ask another crafter if they're willing to craft the material for you. Sometimes they will require you to gather the material yourself and then give it to them for them to craft. Sometimes they ask for a fee of gil. Other times, well, you can just do it yourself. Okay, so here we are with the weavers. Greetings, adventurer, and welcome to the wellspring of Uldan fashion. From humble thread, our peerless artisans weave wonders, dreams in fabric form. We are renowned as Eorzea's finest purveyors of quality textiles and as her foremost arbiters of style. Needless to say, such renown was not won without effort. Ours is a tremendously demanding profession, you see, but also a highly rewarding one. It is little wonder that so many adventurers have set their hearts upon joining us. Might you be one of them? Ah, I thought as much. Then I'm sure you're eager to learn all about our illustrious history. As I'm sure you know, Thanalan can be a perilous place, its vast deserts being wont to punish the unprepared, while a menagerie of ferocious beasts stalk the sands. The greatest foe is, of course, the midday sun. And so, ever since man first set foot in this region, he has favored light, flowing fabrics that shield him from the sun's rays, while allowing his skin to breathe. Of course, Uldans have ever been a people of taste and a demand for more extravagant designs. Spurred innovation resulted in textile goods whose appeal extended far beyond our borders. Merchants had little trouble selling Uldan fabrics in foreign markets, so great was their reputation for beauty and quality. And when traders from those same markets sought to peddle their lesser products in Thanalan, well, it gave us a little cause for concern. Sun-silk tapestries is synonymous with the textile trade in Ulda, you see. Those who come here hoping to peddle cheap rags swiftly learn that price of doing business in our territory. Wiser, men and women with an interest in our trade choose instead to join the guild which the company generously operates for the betterment of Uldan society. We offer our members the tools and techniques needed to become successful, and should they prove themselves especially skilled, they may even be offered direct employment as sun-silk weavers. Just imagine, adventurer, your designs could one day dictate the course of Uldan fashion. If you desire such fame and influence, then you might be granted a place with us, provided that you are willing to embrace hard work. To ensure candidates can endure the rigors of profession, our guildmaster has taken it upon himself to evaluate each one personally. When you are ready to submit yourself to this rigorous scrutiny, say the word. Are you ready to meet the guildmaster? First impressions are everything, and you do not want to present yourself poorly. Marone wishes you to reaffirm your desire to join the Weavers Guild. Excellent, though I do wonder if your attire is appropriate for the occasion. Probably not. You will find the esteemed Redolent Rose supervising guild operations over yonder. He is... how shall I put this? He is relentless in his pursuit of excellence. So long as you demonstrate that you're similarly committed, he will treat you fairly and with respect. So something I didn't mention before is that each of the crafting and gathering classes have their own unique storyline. So if that's kind of why I went into this, because firstly I found crafting and gathering quite easy in this game. Time consuming but easy. In other games that I've had, it's quite challenging, no fun, and there's really no point with the crafting and gathering. And they're usually restricted to maybe 2 or 3 classes different crafting or gathering jobs. So even if you wanted to try them all, you would need more than one character or the ability to forget whatnot, and if you're gonna do that, there's really no point, because why am I gonna spend all this time doing this if I just have to give up what I worked on? So in this, there is no restriction. Everything is available. So, yay! Another thing I hadn't mentioned was... and shoot, I lost my train of thought there. Right. Some material is dropped from monsters, some material is gathered from mineral deposits, or once we get access to the botanist or fisher, you will know that some of it's fishing, because obviously a fisher fishes, and a botanist can either... well, they collect from bushes and stuff, or they chop at trees. But it's gonna be a while until we get to that, because that's in the Gridania area. So I kind of will go through that once we get there. Anyways. And obviously you knew already, or you might have assumed already from previous videos that we got drops from the other animals, and much of this is used as materials for crafting. And this is actually used for repairing. I don't usually use them because I just go to the repair vendors, because it's just easier, because then I don't have to worry about having the right level of this, or having enough, or having a high enough crafting, or I think it's just crafting class to actually do that. So, onwards to talking to the guildmaster. What do we have here? Another adventurer in search of thrills and excitement? Shall I dance you a merry jig? No? Well, if this fails to please you... That was an amusing jig. I suggest you run along. Perhaps the women of Ruby Road Exchange will be more to your liking. Oh, so you mean to become a weaver? Then we have something to discuss after all. I shall be blunt. Weaving is an art, and like all true artists, we must make sacrifices and suffer for our craft. So tell me, adventurer, are you prepared to suffer? I guess so. So you say, but only time will tell. In any case, you'll need equipment to start. This needle should suffice for now. I need not explain what a needle is, I trust. Good. Then hold it as you would with sewing, and show me you're ready to begin. And once again, we get another piece of gear. Our weapon, weaver unlocked. And now, I forgot to mention, we have more more gear set save option slots, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just gonna equip that. And I just realized that I kept these basic gears because they're all class instead of the gladiator class. So if I was a gladiator and did this quest, then I'd have been naked again. Well, in the small clothes, not naked. Anyway. And there. Now I have a weaver. And I'm just gonna tossing that. Okay. Also mentioned, because I forgot to until just now and I realized, I was left clicking, which picks this up, and then just left clicking again and it drops it off of the hotbar, which is also nice. Redolent Rose would like to assign you your first task as a weaver. Well, you look like you were born to hold one of those. Even so, I suggest you keep it somewhere safe, especially when clamoring over haystacks, as I shan't be issuing you another. Now you certainly look the part, but it remains to be seen if you can play it. I bid you craft me a spindle of hempen yarn. A trifling task, yes. Yes. Well, I do hope you find it so. Should it seem even remotely testing, you have no future at this guild. To make hempen yarn, you will require moko grass and lightning shards. The former can be purchased from our own dear Gigama. The latter you will have to find for yourself. That is all. To synthesize a spindle of hempen yarn from Redolent Rose, select logs from the main menu, followed by crafting log. So, in this case, can't actually do this one because I believe I need botanist to actually do that quest. Which is kind of unfortunate. But, yeah. So, I'm just gonna activate this hotbar so that I can soon to drag the other damage classes, so that's for gladiator. And I'm not gonna bother with the gathering and crafting classes just yet because I might not actually use them ever. Will depend on if you guys want to see more of that stuff. I will at least do the first goldsmith and minor quest, because that'll give you a good example of how that works. And actually, I'm going to go this way so I can go up and get the alchemist quest. And I realized I wasn't reading again. Bad habit, that is. And I could have also teleported, but he doesn't like to run around in a city and draw the attention of guards who are saying, "Why are you running in this place?" Oh, I guess I need to go the right direction as well. That was just a pretty big fail. Yes, sir, I'm not running this time. I'm going over here. And we'll just mosey along. And we're almost there. Just have this. Put up. And here we go. Dietrich. Ah, an adventure, one of my favorite kind of people. I find your unquenchable thirst for exploration neatly completes the burning hunger for a sagacity word that marks our dedicated members. Welcome to the Alchemist's Guild. Though I hesitate to define alchemy in such narrow terms, our main field of expertise is the concoction of various potions and elixirs. These are salves to treat all manner of afflictions, not to mention miraculous libations that enhance the imbiber beyond her natural physical limits. As an adventurer, I am sure you can appreciate the eminently eminently? Oy vey, how did I not get that? As an adventurer, I am sure you can appreciate the oh goodness, I'm just gonna skip that word, guys. Particular applications of our works. What say you, madame? Care to take up mortar and pestle and join our ranks? Wonderful. Now then, allow me to give you a brief history of the guild before we tackle the official paperwork. Though alchemists are presently known as the quintessential brewers of potions, the profession itself arose from the desire to achieve an as yet unrealized ambition. The original driving purpose behind our art was, and perhaps still is, the discovery of a process that can transform base metals into gold or silver, and the mystical medium through necessary to effect such transformations is the philosopher's stone, which itself believed to have Panaceian properties and be capable of bestowing eternal life. Of course, it has to get into a topic with words that I just don't even know how to say, or have barely ever seen before. Though success yet eludes us, years of endless experimentation towards this golden goal had the initially unintentional consequence of unearthing a wealth of knowledge in the field of alchemic medicine. Regrettably, alchemy's potential to enrich the lives of the masses was first met with a wave of distrust, as if our ability to create helpful compounds was akin to dabbling in back-alley witchcraft. The profession eventually gained credibility in Ulda through its integration into traditional medicine by Fondale's Frontistery, an institution known for producing respectable physicians. Once the city's shift in perception became known, budding alchemists wishing to study without fear of persecution journeyed to Ulda from every corner of the realm. It was not long before this gathering of inquisitive minds banded together to form the Alchemists' Guild. Thus, while our organization is intensely focused on perfecting and sharing the fruits of our research, it is also of paramount importance that we uphold the reputation of alchemy itself as a legitimate discipline. If you would reveal in the secretive arts that you must be prepared to shoulder the responsibilities I have described. Take a moment to dwell on these words before you truly enter the world of alchemy. And we'll talk to the receptionist again. Have you arrived at a decision? Are you ready to exult in the arts of alchemy and commit to the responsibilities that enrollment entails? I believe so. Excellent, then allow me to direct you to our guildmaster. Gaining his approval is the last test you must pass before becoming a full member of the guild. You will find Guildmaster Severin C. whatever, tending to his experiments at his personal workbench. I must warn you, he is rather intense. He is a rather intense individual. Pray choose your words with care. He is a very interesting person. And quite amusing also. What? What is it time? Oh, you must be the merchant's lackey. Came to bring me my impwinks. Let's have them then. Not a lackey. An inspiring alchemist, did you say? Speak up and pray that I heard you awry. I guess I'm an aspiring alchemist. Did you dabble fools Diedrich send you to me? I specifically request that I be disturbed for nothing less than the coming of a second calamity. Do I appear as a kindly mentor to you? My research demands my absolute and undivided attention. Now, be gone before I am forced to... But wait. Perhaps I can... Yes, you may be the very assistant I require. I have a change of heart. Congratulations. I approve your application to the guild. It is with a great pleasure that I welcome a fellow seeker of knowledge into the fold. We can dispense with the interminable initiation ceremony, yes? Here's your first alembic. I think that's how you say that word. Try not to drop it, for there is much work to be done. Yes, much work. Guildmaster Severin wants you to use the weathered alembic to perfect your first alchemic miracle. I see you've managed to take hold of that without injuring yourself. An auspicious beginning. Let us see if we can continue this trend of unexpected success. For your first lesson, I want you to use your weathered that there and make me a bottle of distilled water. Distilled water is simply the end result of purifying a murkier sample of life's most vital element. As such, it provides the perfect introduction to one of alchemy's most fundamental processes, taking a material and refining it into a purer form. To perform this rudimentary exercise, you shall require a pail of muddy water and a water shard. The impure water can be purchased from the supplier standing near the entrance to the guild. The name momentarily escapes me. Esmenet? Yes, that was it. If it happens that you find this a basic task beyond your abilities, then mayhap alchemy is not the discipline for you, which would be quite upsetting, as I detest the thought of having to select a new assistant. Try not to disappoint me. So I believe, once again, you need the botanist for this one. So I guess I was wrong in saying that they're all relevant to the same jobs and such that are within that same city-state. Another example, I guess, would be true, the culinarian, so your cook, which is accessible in Limsa Lominsa, requires a lot of fishing, and also botanist, mostly botanist. Or botany, not botanist. Botanist is a person. Requires a lot of botany. And thus, if you don't have access to Gridania, well, you're not gonna do a whole lot of cooking. unless you get lucky and you get some of the drops for like meats and stuff from the monsters themselves. So now we're actually finally on to the damage classes. Hooray! So first, I will go to Pugilist, who happens to be right over here. And I will talk to them. Boing. And just moseying along, and I realized I could have been running again. And here we go. And we have another. Nope. Oh. And there's one of my other free company mates. Saw another one earlier. Greetings and welcome to the Pugilists Guild. We Pugilists are specialists in hand-to-hand combat through rigorous training. We forge devastating weapons of our fists and feet, which we employ to great effect in battle. There is no better place in all the realm to train in our discipline than here. If you would walk the path of the Pugilist, I highly recommend you add your name to our roll. What say you, friend? Join the Pugilist Guild. A decision you will not regret, but before we proceed to the paperwork, it is essential that you know something of our guild's storied past. Since time immemorial, man has used whatever has been at his disposal to settle disputes. In the beginning, that meant fighting with his fists. Such hand-to-hand combat exists in various forms throughout Eorzea, each evolving independently of one another. The origins of the pugilism as we know it, however, can be traced back to staging of bare-handed bouts at the Colosseum. These contests attracted fighters from far and wide, bringing their myriad styles crashing together on the bloodstands. Amidst the chaotic intermingling of styles, there arose a pugilist of singular strength and skill. The woman made it her life's mission to master every form she encountered, that she might refine her art. Among her many song-worthy exploits, we pugilists remember her participation in a gladiator tournament most fondly. Back when bare-handed fighting was still seen as a pastime for peasants, she took on fully armed and armored gladiators and effortlessly bested the lot of them. Word of her feat spread across the realm like wildfire. Ulda swiftly transformed into a center of pugilism, which people flocked from all over to train under the masters among masters. Flocked from all over the train under the... Oh, goodness. With people flocking from over to train under this master among masters. The woman's name was Cornelia, and it is her that the Pugilist Guild owes its existence. The art practiced here is based on her all-encompassing style, and this training hall is modeled upon the one which she once built. And there it is, a brief history of her guild. I wouldn't really call that a brief history, that was basically your history of your guild. Kind of. Anyway, I've told this tale 1,000 times, but it never fails to fan the flames of my fighting spirit. Now then, before we can proceed with your enrollment, you must first obtain the Guildmaster's approval. Let me know when you're ready to meet him. So, are you ready to present yourself to the Guildmaster's inspection? Yep. Master Hammond is among the greatest pugilists of our time. For long years, the man ruled the Bloodsands as the Holy Fist, though he has since retired in favor of training inspiring fighters. You will find him overseeing his chars yonder. Go now and show to him the fighting spirit that burns within you. I like this dude. He's funny. Past time you got your arse back here. Well, what did the dancer here to say about my proposition? You're not my errand boy. There's no dancer. There never was. I'm not doing anything indecent, I swear. What? you're here to enroll? Oh, well, why don't you say so sooner? In my capacity as guildmaster, I would be glad to give you a primer on the art of hand-to-hand combat. Doubtless you already know this, but we pugilists fight with our fists and feet. While those don't deal as much damage as a blade, it hardly matters when you can land several blows for each swing of the sword. What we lack in destructive force, we more than make up for the speed and cunning. Under my guidance, not only will you master striking techniques, you'll also learn to string them together to deliver an endless flurry of blows. Only through such fierce combinations can a pugilist realize his potential. Yarg! For an old guy, he moves fast. And he's winded. Cough! Crikey, I'm spent from all this talking. You ought to speak more, lass. It'd give me a chance to catch my breath, but where was I? Well, if you keep talking, I can't. Ah, right, joining the guild. Before you do so, I must warn you that the path of the pugilist is long and arduous. Do you believe you've got what it takes to go the distance? Be honest with yourself now. Can you go the distance? No. And yet I say yes. Yes, you have the fighting spirit. I can see it in your eyes. I see no reason to deny you a place in these halls. Welcome to the guild, lass. To help you on your way, I'd add some names to your hunting log, opponents that you might hone your skill against. And so as to make a budding pugilist of you, here's your very own pair of, Hora? They're a tad old and rusted, but they'll serve to make you look meaner, I reckon. Now I have a mind to assign you your first lesson. Arm yourself with your weapons and let me know when you're ready to begin. Ta-da! And we'll just equip this. And we'll equip those. You have changed to a new battle class. To lessen the burden of leveling, multiple Disciple of War and Magic classes, an experience bonus, known as the Armory bonus, is added when slaying enemies and participating in fates. This bonus grows larger the greater the discrepancy between your current level and the level of your highest class. Use this to your advantage when deciding when and how to raise a secondary class. So, I didn't actually start leveling up any of my classes. So I didn't even do what I'm doing right now, showing you guys. I didn't try any of the other classes until I was like level 50 or around the time when I was done the 2.0 quest line. So, this stuff I didn't do right away, mostly because I used the advice of staying with the current class that I was in, and then that was Gladiator, because partly I was still new to the game, and I didn't want to confuse myself with a new class. I'm gonna drag that one down there. And there we go. So we will talk to the guildmaster. Amon wishes to teach you your first lesson. Looking every bit a pugilist, lass, now the learning can commence. First, for your first lesson, I want you to test your fledgling skills against the vermin of Thanalin. Get out there and put down 3 marmots, 3 hornets, and 3 shrews. Return here when the deed is done. Now this goes without saying, but I expect you to fight using the horror I just gave you. It counts for naught if you skewer the beasts with a spear or fry them with a spell, say. And as I had mentioned in the last video, that if I was equipped to a different class than Gladiator, that experience would not be towards the Gladiator, it would be towards that specific class, and that dialogue there just kind of said the same thing, that these kills will only count if I do it as a pugilist, and as you can see, it says specifically that you need to slay these as a pugilist, so I can't use my Gladiator to kill them. Okay. Yayake. Welcome to the Thaumaturge's Guild. It is fate that has guided your steps here, friend. Within these hallowed halls, the arts of devastation are taught, primeval magics with which to bring about an enemy's ruin. If you would join our ranks and wield the power of thaumaturgy, I urge you to seize this moment and confide in me your arcane ambitions. Yes, there truly was no other answer, was there? Lean closer now, and I shall whisper to you of thaumaturgy's beginnings. The nation of Ul'dah inherited its traditions from ancient Bil'Adiyah, a city founded by the descendants of the first mages. The secrets of these illustrious sorcerers were ultimately entrusted to the priests of the Order of Nulthal, who have passed them down from generation to generation ever since. Focused and refined over centuries of use in the Order's funeral rites, the arcane magics of our ancestors eventually emerged as the art we now know as thaumaturgy. A freezing blizzard to halt corruption, a raging fire to cleanse the corpse, a bolt of lightning to expel the sins of mortal life, the Dweomers employed the preparation of the dead are equally efficacious when applied to the living. Thus does our guild thrive in the depths of our Zenith ossuary, a sanctuary devoted to Thal, the divine arbiter of the afterlife. What say you then, adventurer, if you would plumb the abyssal depths of thaumaturgy, let our learned sages guide your descent. But before you leap into the darkness, you must prove to our guild masters that you are possessed of the spiritual fortitude necessary to look upon that which waits therein. When you are ready to submit to the judgment of our most eminent mages, say the word. Well, adventurer, will you join our guild, or do you presume to ignore the urgings of impatient destiny? And so this is one of the only other classes that uses a shield, and of course you get a shield right away. But there's also a one-handed thaumaturge's arm, which also gives the assumption that you can also have two-handed weapon, which is true. And this is also true for some of the other classes. Yayake wishes you to reaffirm your desire to join the Thaumaturge's Guild. A wise decision indeed to prepare for your initiation. I would have you study the volumes of fundamental thaumaturgical principle, all 108 of them. Yay! Or at least I would if such requirements had not been abolished. Too great a deterrent to fresh novices, they said. I suppose you shall just have to settle for calling upon the collective wisdom of our guild masters. We have 5, you see, all brothers of the same house. Though they all wield supreme authority, it is the eldest who provides a singular voice of the guild, which, when one is required, Master Kokobogo, I believe. Kokobuki, Kokobyogo, Kokobezi, Kokobahoha, and Kokobana. 'Cause that's not confusing. Who? What? Oh, Thal's teeth, miss, did your mother never tell you not to startle a thaumaturge? I walked right in front of you. Look at the expectant face, Kokobugo. This lady is obviously a new applicant for the guild, seeking audience with her eldest brother. Oh, Prelate Yayake, she can recite 307 verses of the funerary rites for the virtuous fallen, but the simple task of keeping her name straight seems ever beyond her grasp. Well, I for one find the constant confusion endlessly entertaining. My apologies, my dear. My merriment was not meant to mock your mistake. It is our sibling Kokobuki with whom you should speak. Or Kokobuku. Buki. What's this? Thal has led us to a new aspirant? Ah! Kokobuki! Were you here the entire time? Greetings, child. I am Kokobuki, the eldest, and I would venture to say the wisest of the 5 masters of the thaumaturge's guild. It is my solemn duty to furnish our would-be initiates with another word I don't know, understanding of our beloved art. Thus I would have your fullest attention. To wield thaumaturgy is to unleash devastation of the highest magnitude. The lethal force of our spells far exceeds the destructive capabilities of any other form of arcane manipulation. Fire, lightning, blizzards, somnolence, the thaumaturge calls upon an expansive arsenal of offensive incantations to incapacitate and obliterate all manner of adversities. Whatever. Open your mind to our sorceress teachings, and you too shall soon hold the unparalleled power of our discipline in the palm of your hand. Of course, such power has a price. You must be willing to plunge headfirst into the forbidding chasm of thaumaturgy's secret, for advancement in this art comes only with the completion of deadly and terrible trials. I ask you now, aspirant, are you prepared to leap into the abyss in pursuit of power unrivaled? I guess so. A confident response. Your name, if you will? Very well. Let us mark your initiation with 3 eminently practical gifts. My first gift to you shall be an addition to your hunting log, the names of such enemies that will prove suitable to your training as a thaumaturge. The second and third gifts are the scepter and shield, instruments you shall need to focus the destructive force of your will. Did you believe your initiation over? My dear disciple, we have only just begun. Take your new weapons in hand, and I will set you forth upon your first trial. So even though we got that other shield, might actually... not actually, sir. Let's see. Yeah, see, underneath it says item level 8. Right underneath it says which classes that's equipable, and that's Gladiator, Paladin in this case. This one's equipable to Gladiator, Conjurer, Thaumaturge, Paladin, White Mage, and Black Mage. So. In this case, I was thinking because this one might have been equipable to all of them, but it is not, so we'll have to use just that level 1. Which, now that I'm saying that, makes sense because we wouldn't be level 8 anyway. Yeesh. And then we equip that. Make a new list. I'll drag that down there. I will close this off. And then you see here popped up with this thaumaturge elemental gauge unlocked. And then this explains the elemental gauge, and I'm gonna adjust something in the HUD after this. The elemental gauge displays several different pieces of information vital to a black mage's, first and foremost being whether or not they are under the influence of astral fire after casting a fire spell, or umbral ice after casting a blizzard spell. All fire spells cast while under the influence of astral fire will have increased potency, that means increased damage, but will require more MP. This is the same for blizzard spells cast while under the influence of umbral ice. Umbral ice also increases the speed with which MP regenerates. So in this case, you want to learn how to balance your skills to properly utilize them. So in the HUD here, once you usually have that, you have your element gauge, and I usually put them down there just because you notice, and you can see the kind of outline of it right there. Well, now you can see it. I might actually move it a little bit further down. Okay, we'll just leave that there. Anyway, and now we're talking to Kokobuki. Guildmaster Kokobuki wishes to test the limits of your thaumaturgical aptitude. A scepter will complements the avid desire for destructive power written upon your features. Now we shall complete your initiation with a trial to test the limits of your aptitude for channeling thaumaturgy. Huge hornets, star marmots, and snapping shrews inhabit this land in abundance. Exercise your sorceress might and slay 3 of each of these creatures before returning to my side. So now that we have those out of the way, I'm just going to open up my journal here, and I am going to hide those. Sorry, I'm going to hide the ones that I can't do right now. That wasn't one of them. That one I can do. This one I can't do. This one I can do. That one is the water. I can do this one. I can do this one. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly do those to kind of introduce the other classes, damage and the minor gathering class and the crafting class that is the goldsmith. So as you can see, we have most of our quests, and so for our story quest it's over here, but also over here is where we need to go for some of these, to kill some of these. So we will head over that way first. And so right now I'm equipped with thaumaturge. Thaumaturge is the, well, because we started in Ulda, it is a ranged DPS class. And because our gladiator is already level 10, I think. Let me check real quick once we're done loading this screen to Central Thanalan. Loading. Okay, so in here you can see your profile, has your name, and you can assign a title. We don't have any titles to assign. Your race, what clan, your gender, so either male or female, which city-state you're from, your chosen birthday, name day, so birthday, and then your guardian. And then here you can see all your classes. These are grayed out because we haven't actually accessed them. So we have Gladiator, who's level 11, Pugilist at level 1, and Thaumaturge at level 1. It also shows you the experience, so 0 out of 30, 100 out of 30, and 200, well, I don't need to read out the number, but there. So there's your Disciple of War, Disciple of Magic, and then you have your Disciple of Hand and Disciple of Land. And here you have Minor, Botanist, Fisher. We only have Minor accessible. Then we have Goldsmith, Weaver, and Alchemist, Culinarian, and Blacksmith and Armor are all in Limsa Lominsa. Leatherworker and Carpenter are in Gridania. Botanist is in Gridania, and Fisher is in Limsa Lominsa. Once we get to those areas, some of those things will make sense as to why they are located where they are. So let's see. We need to kill a marmot or 2 for our last quest. And you can see there's a casting time because this is a ranged DPS, so that ranged DPS tends to mean that there is ranged casting DPS, I think is the right category. I know I did this in my introductory video, but I can't even remember. Let's see, I'm lazy. I'll just look here. What is this? Magical range DPS. That was close enough. Basically means you're casting DPS classes. So that's it for the Thaumaturge for Marmots. You see I leveled up there. Introduces again that, so you see that changed there. My MP will grow faster. And obviously you see there, I need this, but I also need it for Pugilist, and I'm not equipped as Pugilist. so needing them won't kill for that. Astral Fire and Umbral Ice are special status effects which allow thaumaturges to continuously deal devastating amounts of damage while still conserving their MP reserves. And then this kind of goes through what our guildmaster told us as well, or what was told during that questline bit. I'll just leave the rest for you to read. And then you can read the descriptions itself. Grants Umbral Ice or remove Astral Fire, so it deals damage with a potency of 180, deals fire damage for a potency of 180, and then vice versa. Once you have more skills, it's a little more obvious of your regeneration of MP or your higher damage, and so on and so forth. One thing that's also something you have to get used to if you play more than one class is the range that you can actually attack. Obviously with Gladiator you will have to attack closer because it is a kind of close up in the monster's face kind of class. And as you can see there's also a ring because there's a bonus stack of that. Now it's disappeared. A pugilist is also a up and close damage class, and you can see that it attacks significantly faster than that of the Gladiator. You can see that the cooldown for the skill is a lot faster, which one would assume for a DPS class because you want a high damage per second. You wouldn't be much of a DPS if you weren't. And unlike other melee classes, pugilists do not use a system of weapon skill combos. Instead, weapon skills are used to cycle through unique battle forms to achieve what is called Greased Lightning, a status that increases attack power and speed, allowing them to overwhelm their enemies in a mad flurry of punches and kicks. And then I'll leave that for you to read at your leisure. I believe I need those for a hunt log, so I might as well just kill one more, as it were. And then I need to kill hornets for the class quest. I may leave the because the Disciple of War and Disciple of Magic classes also have their own storyline, I will probably leave those class quests for another video. Probably an aside, it won't be actually part of the playthrough, but just to give you an idea of what they are. So, because obviously, if, as I said, I'd be leveling this up as best as I could to be consistent with the playthrough. So I'll leave those class quests to do an actual video, that way you can see them if you ever don't want to actually try out the class for yourself. And obviously if you do, then you won't have that spoiler within the playthrough without actually knowing that you are going to see it. So I'll probably have like I don't know, for example, class quests for a pugilist, playthrough, or no, let's see, what kind of title would I have? I would have a levels 1 through, I don't know, 15, I'd probably do more than that, class quests for pugilist, except it'd probably be more like levels 5 and through like 25, or 35. Probably 30. Who knows? At this point, I'm just kind of blabbering. Okay, and then I'm gonna swap back to the thaumaturge. So the fire is a lot faster. Or does a lot more damage, rather. I believe it's also faster. The blizzard is slower, but it also helps regenerate MP. As also forgot to mention, as you can see how much the bonus is. It's significantly higher than what it was for the other quests. Now, where do I need to go? Okay. Need to report first, talk to Kukabuki. And since I'm out here, I guess I will also drag the miner and the goldsmith, just because those are the ones that I can do. I'll just quickly swap to miner. Equipped with the best gear there. And so I have prospect on, and I'm just going to make a quick adjustment to because it looks like it's floating in the air, which it is, but as I said, I'll have hot bars here, so eventually it won't look like that. I'll probably shrink it down as well. But let's see. Should be something I can harvest here, so I have prospect on, sprints on. So there should be some sort of mining thing, perhaps not over on this side. If you're never certain of where you can gather, there is a gathering log right here. That tells you. So Western Thanaland and Central Thanaland for copper ore. And it says, what, Spineless Basin, so somewhere down here. So we'll actually head that way, so I can do that right now. And of course I just ran, so I just wasted that running speed. But we'll just run through the refugee camp because, well, why not? And it's raining. Alright. You can see on the ground there's a bit of puddles kind of splashing up there. And not ready yet. Running. Sprint. There we go. And it should appear soon, probably over there. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually show you. Like, you can't see anything on the map here. Once you get closer, you can look on the mini-map. I honestly wish you could see the spots on here, but in the higher levels it makes sense as to why those aren't visible. Just one of my nitpicks, which makes it kind of... Well, it did say over here. So where is it? Did I look at the right thing? Gathering log. Mining. Spineless Basin. Over here. It's gotta be somewhere. Surprised that I can't see anything right now. Well, that has me on a confused side. Did I pass them? Well, do I specifically have to get them somewhere? Not here? Well, that was a waste of time. I probably went to the wrong spot. Let's see. Money. Gate of Sultana or the Gate of Nald. Well, there's the Gate of Nald. Well, I guess I will run back over this way and hopefully I can see them over here. Ah, CUK here. Oh, that was a waste of time. I will probably edit that out, so you probably don't even know. As you can see, this is over here. It does say level 5, but because we can actually see it, it means we can actually do this. So I just right-clicked, gathering. I'll let you read this at your leisure. Here you have your options. Sometimes these aren't visible, but because these are just low levels, it is visible. And apparently I was wrong. I can actually do the Muddy Water class quest for the alchemist. Okay, so copper ore. And as you can see, there's a progress bar there. Unfortunately, you can't see it because of the pop-ups. There's the progress amount, how many times you can actually go to each of the mineral deposits. I call them nodes just for simplicity, because it's shorter. And you can see on the minimap it's disappeared. And once you've collected in a certain area, you'll see more respawning. So we need 7 more for the quest, 5 more, and then we need some for crafting, because we need to craft, oops, what button? Deliver copper ingot. We just need 1, so we needed those 3 ores, so in total we need 13. And I ran the wrong way. Up. So you're gathering quests, obviously you have to go out on the field, hence Disciple of Hand. And then with the crafting classes, you can actually craft wherever you want, as long as you have the materials with you. And I do recommend paying attention to where you are, because if you happen to change in your crafting class and you're near some aggressive monsters and your crafting class is lower in level, it will come and try to attack you, and as a crafting class, it can't really do any damage. So be careful with that. There is a, don't have it right now, but there will be later on a stealth ability for your gathering classes, so you can use that. Unfortunately, when you're using stealth, you have to walk, which can get annoying, so sometimes what I'll do is I will play in my one of my Disciple of War, Disciple of Magic classes, kill off the monsters that are, the aggressive monsters that are nearby, and then I'll start gathering. That way I can gather quickly. You just have to pay attention to spawn rate times, and then you're good to go. And I'll just let you read that at your leisure. So we need, how many do we have? We have 11, so we need actually 2 more. So 1, 2, I didn't get it, 2. And you see, sometimes you don't actually get the material. I guess I need to move that so I can actually see the mini-map, so I know where I'm going. Okay, hippity hop. We need, oh, I did get that one. Oh well, we got an extra one. So now I'll just collect the muddy water for the quest. After I gather 1 more, I will, oops, there we go, hitting the wrong buttons. Okay, so this one, distilled water. You see there's a limit on how many you can highlight, so it changes the appearance here of which quests actually appear there. I believe the limit is 5, which is unfortunate because I like to have more sometimes, especially if I'm doing levy quests, or leave quests rather. Pronounced leave quests. We'll get to that when it's actually applied in the game. Okay, so this is goldsmithing, clothcraft, alchemy. And we just needed 1. Okay, so we're good to go. I will go back into town, and then I will craft. And then turn in these quests, and then that'll be it for this video. And then next video, we will continue with the story quests and some of the side quests. I wanted to actually introduce these because this is part of the game, and so if you're kind of wary of starting these things, starting these different classes, you have kind of an idea how it works. There is no restriction or time limit for when you actually can accept these jobs. You can accept them whenever you want or never. It is nice to experience. I do recommend trying some of the other classes eventually. Not necessarily all of them, that's completely up to you, obviously. So now we're going to talk to Hammond. Ah, you're back, and none the worse for the exertion. Youthful vigor is a truly blessed thing. If you want to become strong, you mustn't neglect your training. Indeed, a pugilist is only as good as the number of strikes he's dealt. So get out there, Celebrian, and let your fists fly. When the time is ripe, I'll teach you something new. There's no limit to the potential of youth. I look forward to seeing you come into your own. Ha ha ha. Then you can complete the quest, and then it tells you that the next quest is at level 5. And then we will talk to thaumaturge. Well, unfortunately I have this habit of sprinting and then changing classes, and that just completely wipes the sprint. So we'll slowly head our way this way. And ready, hop, hop. Then we'll talk to the guildmaster of thaumaturge. They have some pretty interesting areas and such. Okay, Buki. You have the satisfied look of a mage who has utterly vanquished her foes, Celebrian. I formally welcome you into the Brotherhood of Thaumaturges. The purpose of this trial was to gauge your capacity for wielding thaumaturgy, an innate quality of the limits of which are bound by the level of etheric energy flowing through your physical being. Aether, the very stuff of life, exists within all living creatures to a greater or lesser extent. Remember this, for it is the most basic law of arcane manipulation. As your experience grows, so shall your reserves of thaumaturgical endurance. The wellspring of your magical might will also swell in response to moments of extreme terror and duress. When you find yourself seeking greater challenge, when next you crave the thrill of exquisite fear, that is when you shall know the time has come for you to visit me once more, aka once you get to level 5. Okay, and now we will go over to deliver the ore, and then we'll do the crafting quests that I can do, and then turn those in. Where am I going? Don't mind me with my random noises. I might edit that out so you wouldn't know what I'm talking about, but since I'm running around and saying stuff, you probably will. Okay, I need to go this way. Oh, that's the... what are you... Okay, I can't do this one. Okay, so this is the goldsmith. And I need to craft... Oops, I don't need that. I need this. Craft this. So, synthesize. And then you go into crafting stance, depending on... and then you'll see whatever gear and stuff, depending on what you have. So you can see there's a hammer and a table. And that says crafting is similar to battle in various actions are used to proceed. Successfully crafting an item entails executing synthesis actions to achieve 100% progress before material durability reaches 0, and you can see as the example there. If durability reaches 0 before progress has reached 100%, the synthesis will fail and some of the materials may be lost. Items that you have successfully crafted at least once will appear with a checked mark to the left of their icons. I'm not sure that's the left unless of course they meant the name, because that's kind of the right. Anyway, crafting an item for the first time will earn you a special experience bonus. So you can see durability is 40, that means we basically have 4 chances, because each synthesis is going to take 10. And the progress, see, succeeded in doing 6 progress, 9, and the quality here doesn't really matter because we don't actually have any high quality material and we're not using any, and we don't have any skills to actually increase that. So now we're done with that, you just close that off. And then we'll talk to Serendipity. Oh, did you forget what materials you need? Easton over there can tell you blah 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 blah. And here, copper ingot, an ingot of smelted copper. You know, I think this is quite... Utter garbage, the worst, not even fit for making a chamber pot. Quiet, Giggy. I'm the guildmaster. I get to decide what's fit for a chamber pot. Please excuse us, he gets a bit overzealous at times. Giggy is my assistant, but he has a habit of butting in with his opinions. Most mammoths are rather... See, she thought we were a mammoth before. Look at how short those things. Think I'm a mammoth? I'm like 3 times tall. Most mammoths are rather simple, capable of no more than the rudimentary speech. They can be relied upon for menial tasks, but little else. Gigi, on the other hand, is quite intelligent and quite stubborn, I might add. I suspect that, due to his age, he's been with the guild for an eternity, never attending each guildmaster, but recently he's been coming and going as he pleases. Gigi, kneel before Gigi, the one true guildmaster. Respect my authority, ignorant mortal, or suffer my wrath. It's like this every day. I'm afraid the experience he's accumulated over a century of assisting guildmasters has made him arrogant. It's quite intimidating, really. I might be the guildmaster, but he's like a walking, talking archive of knowledge to do with our craft. Oh! I completely forgot about your ingot. Sorry. As I was about to say, I think this is very, very good for a beginner. It's reasonably pure and well-formed. I dare say you've got a knack for this. What you need now is practice. So keep practicing with your hammer and come back here when you've gotten more comfortable using it. Giggy, bugger off, greenhorn. And as level 5 for the next quest. Hence, practice. And since I forgot with the other one, you can actually see we now have that. And I believe Miner also got something. Nope, did not. Okay, well, I am going to drag the alchemy one down there. Alchemy. And because we just did that quest, we also have this. That's a nice thing. Most of the, other than the main hand and the offhand eventually, the gathering and well, particularly crafting classes generally have the same kind of gear. The gathering classes also have much the same gear. And now we're just going to turn in our mining class quest. And we'll run that way. It's 10 chunks of copper I want, blah 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 blah. Copper ore. A decent sized piece of rock containing the metal copper. Let's see here, 10 chunks, just as ordered. Well done, Celebrian. Tell me, is it being a minor art like you imagined? Hotter than expected, is it? Heh. All new recruits say as much. It takes a combination of knowledge and experience and instinct to know where to dig. Yet it's ultimately back-breaking labor that yields you your prize. Making no mistake, Celebrian, mining is grueling work, and you'll be dog-tired most of your waking hours, but tell me, did you not feel invigorated each time your pickaxe struck home? Did you not experience a thrill of triumph when the earth finally yielded up your prize? That is what miners live for. You may be ripe to collapse, your face caked in week-old dirt, but the promise of discovery drives you on, and the instant you find that which you have long sought, in the sparkling instant, you feel like a god among men. I would certainly hope you don't have a face caked in week-old dirt. You've made a fine start, and I would see you maintain your efforts, practice swinging your pickaxe till your arms have learned the motion, then return here. I'll have another little task for you, aka level up to level 5. And here we have our first piece of gear, aside from our main weapon, as our gathering gear. And ta-da! And I like it, because it's blue. Blue is my favorite color. I'm a little biased with it. Okay, and now we need to just do the alchemy quest. And I actually okay, note that was his first side quest. Okay, we're good. I'm going to go this way. So we just need to do that class quest, and then that'll be it for this. And I'm actually going to teleport there because it's there. A bit of distance of running. And just to save up time. Okay. Look at me. Crafting, distilled water, synthesize, and a few wax, and oh, I guess one, because I'm done. Probably because we have that piece of gear already. Your task is to provide me with a we already know. Distilled water. The distilling process has removed all the impurities from this water. Magnificent! Your transformation into an alchemist has begun. Do you understand the liquid treasure you have made? Yes, it is still simply water, but now possessed of almost limitless potential. In a properly distilled state, water provides the base ingredient for all manner of wondrous concoctions. On the other hand, a potion created with impure water is not only unlikely to have the desired effect, it may very well poison the imbiber, I'm assuming the drinker. Look well upon the substance you have refined, see how crystal clear it has become, not the most flavorful of libations, but still refreshing to pour over one's head on a stifling summer afternoon. Tell me, how did you feel in the instance of its purification? Such a fine result must have sent thrills of excitement, satisfaction down your spine. Yes, I know well that sensation. To glean a pristine drop from filthy swile, it is a miracle born of mortal artifice. Nothing can compare to that rush of triumph in the moment when physical laws bend to one's will. Nothing. The greater your mastery of alchemy, the more ecstatic the feeling becomes. Go, fill your chambers with bottles of distilled water, and revel in your in each success. I'm not entirely sure I would want to fill a room of distilled water. I return now to my experience. When next you disturb me, I shall expect your skills to be worthy of a guildmaster's chosen assistant. And aka level 5. And obviously we get another piece of gear, but it's the same. I think the only difference is color. But we don't really need that. Okay, so I am going to look at the overview map to see where I need to go. Oh, right. I hit that one. Goblet. This is just for the housing. Not sure that I'm actually gonna get to it. Maybe I will next one, but that's there. And where is this? Oh, it is there. Okay, so I'm just gonna teleport there, so I'm ready to go for the next one. Not that you guys needed to know that, but we will end up, once we're there, we'll stop there for today, and can pick up and continue on here. In the meantime, I will probably level up the pugilist and thaumaturge to level 11, and see from there. So, thanks for watching.